Have you ever questioned why something didn't work? Have you ever been in a position? Have you ever been in a place where you know it should work, but for some reason it just isn't working for you?
Amen.
There are a few things, Mac, that frustrate me quicker. There are a few things, Ebony, that get under my skin faster than to know that something should work. Yet for me, I can't quite figure out how to make it work. One of the benefits of our relationship with Jesus Christ, yet we don't always see it as a benefit, Marcus, at its arrival, is the fact that our relationship with Christ is always progressive. Our relationship with Christ is always about growth. And sometimes, in order to prevent from perpetual stagnation, Mom, we sometimes have to come to a place where things simply don't work.
Okay. Come on, Pastor.
In order to keep us from going down a road that will ultimately never work for us, God sometimes situates us in positions where we get stuck. A place where what should work, what we have seen work, simply does not work. Brenda, see, what I'm learning is that the truth of the matter is that for many of us, our faith is in theory.
Amen. Amen.
A faith that is relatively general, a faith that is in the abstract, a faith that operates only in controlled environments like church, where the facts are laid out for us and arranged in such a way that it makes faith easy. But when we're in a position where faith has not been outlined and arranged and laid out for us, then we find ourselves facing frustration. The evidence that this can be seen on display is when our frustration bubbles up and we don't even know why we're frustrated. When something that should work does not work, we end up challenged. But the place where our challenge really is in our faith.
Yes.
Our text, Jesus has arrived back from a mountaintop experience only to find his followers frustrated by their faith. A place where when it was arranged for them, they were fine. But now they're being called to do something without it being prearranged, and it's not working. They're outside of the confines of what they had called comfortable, and they are frustrated because what they have come to know, what they have seen in operation, somehow, some way, for them in this present moment, just isn't working. I've stopped by here in order to inform someone, if you didn't already know, only God can use our frustrations to fix us. Oftentimes what he does is he brings us to a place, Leslie, where we get frustrated, not to keep us in perpetual frustration, but to ultimately fix us.
All right.
Because it's not until we come up against that which does not work that we start to ask the questions and start figuring out how to make it work. The disciples, in their frustrated state, in verse 19 of our text, come to Jesus in private and ask the question, why couldn't we cast it out? We've seen you do it before. It's happened in our midst. It obviously happened with our participation in the past, or the Father would have never asked us without you being around to help him. So if we've been party to it in the past, so why is it not working? Isn't it just like us? To, after becoming a public spectacle, to ask for a private session?
Come on.
Isn't it just like us that after what doesn't work in public, we bring it back down to a private powwow?
Come on, Pastor.
See, the beautiful thing about Jesus is that no matter how we come or the motivation which brings us to him, he always receives us.
Amen.
The challenge for most of us is coming while still in crisis.
Yeah. Come on.
The reason why that's a challenge is because many of us have convinced ourselves that the best first move is to cool ourselves off. To put ourselves back together again. I'll come after I sort it out.
Come on. Yes, Pastor. Come on.
When in reality, the issue is we don't want to face the fact that we failed. And as Christians, to have our faith fail almost seems fatal. I feel God moving. Here's what is important for us to know. You know that you are moving from being a Christian to becoming a disciple when you are willing to discipline your disappointments by bringing them first to God. You know that you are moving from just simply knowing God to being known of God when you are willing to take that which has disappointed you, that which has frustrated you, that which you cannot do of your own accord, and instead of trying to sit in your own place of silence, but you bring it to the sanctuary instead.
Yes.
I got to pause parenthetically just to make it personal. That's what all that was in the atmosphere before the message.
Amen.
It is the reality of knowing that there is a God that is able.
Yes.
Thank you.
But yet and still we are finding ourselves not able. And that collision creates worship.
Yes.
Because you recognize your limitations.
Right.
And your dependency on God.
Amen.
Help me. Verse 20 of our text said that they asked a question and then Jesus answered. Why couldn't we do it? Jesus said, because you have so little faith. I tell you the truth, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, for nothing will be impossible for you. So my question for you today is, how big is your faith?
Yeah.
How big is your faith? And do our frustrations reveal the size of our faith?
Wow.
Could that which frustrates us, that which we are currently viewing as impossible, be a sign of where our faith really is?
Come on. Come on.
Could we be like the disciples in our text who are going around believing that their faith is bigger than it actually is?
Oh, come on.
That we have more power, that we have more access, that we have more swag in God than we actually do.
Yeah.
that we've bitten off more than we can chew.
All right.
Old folks used to say that you've written a check.
You can't
Some of y'all knew some of them same old folks because you can fill in the blanks for what I didn't say. It's clear in the text that their faith, the disciples that is, was not even the size of a mustard seed.
Oh, Lord. Wow.
Now, I don't know how many chefs I had in the room,
Come on.
but do you know the
The
size
size of a mustard seed?
of a mustard seed? Mustard seeds are so small that if you handle them, you lose most of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And Jesus has just enlightened the disciples and us as well. That their challenge, the thing that is frustrating them, is the fact that they are believing that they are something that they're not.
Not. Come on. You better say so.
Come on.
That their faith is bigger than it actually is.
Okay.
And it's only through meeting with the impossible in our life that we learn how to make it possible. It's only after we get stuck that we can see how to start.
Wow.
Jesus said, this is the problem with your faith. It's too small. It's theoretical.
Yes.
It's abstract. It's general. It has to be organized by somebody else before you actually can live by it.
Wow.
That's the problem with your faith. But what I love about Jesus, Mom, is that he doesn't leave us with the rebuke of the reality. He then in turn says, but here's the solution.
Okay.
This kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. See, you asked, now you must fast.
Wow.
Help me, Jesus. Help me, help me. See, we say we want to be like Jesus. Well, here's your chance.
Come on.
You say you want to be like him. Well, here's your chance to change into his very likeness. See, in general, a fast is intended for honoring and pleasing God.
Yes. Yes.
It is to be an acceptable time where we study to be approved by God and in duties obtain his favor, or else we have not fasted.
Okay.
Let me remix that and say that one more again. A fast is about being in a position where you please and honor God.
Okay.
And during the time of fasting, there should be some intentional studying and some duties, something being done in order to win, to turn the favor of God towards you unless you did not fast. It's important to give that level of clarity, Scarlett, because many people pray.
Right. Right.
And a lot of folks fast.
Uh-huh.
But in both instances, they're not always done with the right motivation because their faith is too small.